Alright, so in this video we're going to learn how to apply Google Fonts to our HTML. Now before we do that, why use Google Fonts? So we have the regular style of the browser, and that's okay, it's very clean and all that, but typography is a very quick way to enhance our user interface. So now before we go into the technical part of actually how to do it, we have to also think about how we're going to use the fonts. The font treatment is very important. So the font treatment has to enhance the content. We don't need to dazzle the readers or the users with the magnificent fonts. They don't need to be impressed by them. What they need to do, it needs to draw them into the content. So anyway, so if you don't know a lot about typography, it's good to always read about it. But a quick way to leverage the power of the internet is by looking for places that allow you to find good font combinations. So I like to use Font Pair because Font Pair actually focuses on Google Fonts. So you can find all sorts of different combinations here, and the one I'm going to use for the example is actually Prosa Libre and Open Sans. So we're back to our setup, and today for this exercise I'm not using brackets. Doesn't matter what you use, same thing. And I had enabled the auto preview here, so we can see the changes as they happen. Anyway, all right. So I also have a style sheet because I also want to show you something. So we might be tempted to use fonts that we have on the computer. So in this case, I selected Perpetua for the body and Ear Style for the headers. Now the problem with this is that if the user doesn't have these fonts on their computer, they're going to go to the default, whatever serif or the sans serif font, doesn't matter. And chances are that I would say the majority of people won't have Perpetua or Ear Style on their font selections. So this is already a no-go. All right, so I'm gonna leave them like that right now, and we're gonna work this thing out. All right, so now let's go to Google Fonts here. You can just do a search for Google Fonts. It'll take you to this site, and they recently changed it. So this is actually a redo of a video that I already have. But anyway, all right. So now here we can type something. So like a title using Google Fonts. That way I have a pretty good idea of how my text is actually going to look. All right, so in my case, I think I told you I already decided on Prosa Libre and Open Sans for the body. Okay, so I'm gonna do a search so I don't have to scroll down, but you can scroll down and preview all the different fonts that you have here. All right, so I'm gonna look for Prosa Libre, and there it is. All right, so I'm gonna click on it, and since this is going to be my heading, I'm gonna look for something. Probably this one, the Bold 700. So I'm gonna click on select this style, and it's selected. Then I'm gonna scroll all the way to the top again. I'm gonna go back to browse fonts, and I'm gonna look for Open Sans. So Open Sans right there. All right, and here it is. So I'm gonna click on it again, and since this is gonna be for my for the text of the body, I think I'm going to go with the Light 300. And again, I'm not giving it a lot of thought. This is more focused on how did you do it. All right, now here's what's important. Once you select your fonts, maybe 2 or 3, maybe one for the menus if you have a navigation menu. I probably wouldn't go more than that. Anyway, so I can click on embed, and here this is important. This part is very important. I have 2 options. All right, I can link. If you select link, this is going to go on your HTML in the head section of your HTML. All right. However, there is a little problem. Let me see if they fixed it yet. I think they did. All right. This used to give an error message, but I think they fixed it. I don't see the character that was causing the problem. Anyway, regardless, if you do it like this, you're gonna have to put this link on each one of your pages, on your HTML pages. Okay. So instead of that, what I recommend you do is that you go with the add import option. Okay, so this one, you only have to put it on your CSS, and it will control any pages that are linked to that style sheet. All right, so I'm gonna select everything except for the style. tag. I don't need it because I probably already have it on my document or it's on an external. So anyway, so I'm gonna copy this, go back to my file here, and I'm going to put it at the top. And this is also important. The link to the fonts go on the top of your document, not on the middle, not on the bottom. It's on the top. Should be the first thing. Anyway, now the other thing I'm gonna do here is I am going to copy these rules to specify the families. Okay, so I'm gonna say copy, going back to here, and on my CSS I'm gonna open a set of empty comments because this is just reference for me on how to use it. All right, so that way I don't have to be trying to figure out how to write the fonts. By the way, I'm gonna make a comment on that. So if you can see here, like your style, LSTD, and Open Sans, they're in quotations, single or double quotations, it doesn't matter. But the reason is because there are spaces on the name. So we have Helvetica. Helvetica doesn't have spaces on the name, and you can look on your fonts and you can figure out the names. For example, if I wanted to use this one, QuickType Mono, it has to be spelled exactly the same way that is here, So with that in mind, now we're ready to, we have the link, and let me pull my preview window here. So we're ready to actually implement the fonts, which is the easy part. All right, so we said Prosa Libre was gonna be for my headings, right? So I'm gonna take this description here. I'm gonna select copy, and I'm gonna put it on my H1. So I'm just gonna replace what I have here, and it did it. All right, so now I'm gonna use Open Sans for my text copy. Control C, and I'm gonna apply it to the body here. I'll check the line height and all that. All right, very good. So now this font size is making it a little bit bigger than what the font is. So let me see how it looks without it. Kind of like that. So I made it a little bit bigger, and also I might wanna play a little bit with the line height. So let's say line height, and let's also do 1.1 rem. Okay, that's too squish, so let's take it down to maybe 1.5, 1.7. All right, so I think that makes it more readable. So anyway, all right, so again, this is how do I do that? If I wanted to, of course, extend the same type of font on my H2s, I could. So there you go, H2, and maybe H3s if I have. There you go, H4. I don't have H5s or anything like that, so there it is. So anyway, so that's how easy it is to implement Google Fonts. Now again, focus on the design part, don't leave it out. Remember, consider readability. Make sure it's readable. Can't pronounce that word. So make sure it's readable, and also make sure it goes with the theme of what you're doing. So if you're writing about history or something more traditional, poetry or something, maybe you can get away with some of the decoration fonts, you know. But again, it's not about impressing people. It's about making sure that your typography helps your interface design. All right, I'll catch you on the next video, you know, and go ahead and practice this. I'm out.